Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Raylene Marks, bringing you the top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday. And we are continuing with our special coverage of Operation Guardians of the Wall. Israel, and especially Israel's southern citizens, including as far as the Negev and up to Ashkelon, have endured heavy barrages of rockets and mortars throughout the day. The IDF confirmed that they have struck many targets within the Gaza Strip, including tunnels and including launch sites used to fire rockets towards the city of Tel Aviv and surrounds. Now, there has been a lot of talk about the possibility of a ceasefire. Some reports, including in the Wall Street Journal, that a ceasefire could be in effect from tomorrow. This would be an Egyptian or United Nations brokered ceasefire. However, Israel has not confirmed any reports of that, and Prime Minister Netanyahu has reiterated that Israel very much wants to finish the job of attacking specific Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad targets within the Gaza Strip. Yesterday, Defense Minister Benny Gantz spoke to his counterpart in the United States, Defense Secretary Austin, and thanked him for his support and the continued support of the United States for Israel's right to defend ourselves. However, we are very, very close to striking as many targets as needed as possible to bring quiet both to the Gaza Strip, to the civilians of the Gaza Strip, and to the civilians of Israel. Earlier today, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas landed inside Israel. He was immediately taken to a briefing in the town of Petach Tikva, where he saw for himself some of the destruction caused by the rockets. He has reiterated Germany's solidarity with the state of Israel, but also expressed his hopes for a possible ceasefire. He will be joined later today by foreign ministers from the Czech Republic and Slovakia as well. And we're also grateful to the Parliament of Italy for flying Israeli flags inside Parliament. So the general consensus amongst the international community is to support Israel's right to defend ourselves, that the situation of indiscriminate rocket fire from Gaza into Israeli towns and cities is absolutely untenable, and it is a war crime. The Israeli Workers' Union also opined on the ceasefire. They said that they will not repair any damage to electrical lines in Gaza until the remains of fallen soldiers Oron Shaul and Hadar Golden have been returned, as well as Avera Mengistu. He's an Ethiopian Israeli citizen being held captive in the Gaza Strip. There was no comment on a Bedouin captive who is currently held there as well. And just moments ago, Leah Golden, the mother of fallen soldier Hadar Golden, saying that, or appealing to the government, please no ceasefire unless it includes the return of her son's remains. And the citizens of the south have also expressed a hope that the IDF, with their pinpoint precision strikes, deal as heavy a blow to Hamas as possible so that they can return to a life of peace. Earlier today, a journalist for the Jerusalem Post, writing an op-ed saying that this was probably in the history of military strategies or military operations, probably the most precise, saying that at least 74% of the casualties in the Gaza Strip are actually combatants. We have had reports coming in over the last couple of days as the IDF investigates civilian casualties, how many were as a result of rockets falling short or misfiring inside the Strip. It is estimated that between 400 and 700 rockets have landed just short of the Israeli border, fallen in the Strip. We know of a family of 8 who were killed, as well as separate incidents where 3 children were killed when a rocket misfired and 2 other children killed when a rocket fell short, as well as a significant amount of other civilian deaths. And earlier today, the French tabled a resolution for the United Nations Security Council, this time including condemnation of Hamas firing on Israel, calling for a cessation of the rockets to stop being fired. However, the United States have indicated that they may oppose this UN resolution. And yesterday we heard from the former US ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, who took UNRWA, that is the United Nations Relief Works Agency, to task. They had claimed that it was Israel stopping convoys of aid coming in. This is untrue. The footage is available for everyone to see of those aid convoys coming in. Unfortunately, they were fired upon with mortar shells from Hamas terrorists in the Gaza Strip, and Nikki Haley taking to Twitter to call it an outright lie. So those are the updates that we have to date. There hasn't been any comment from the Prime Minister's office whether or not we will be going to a ceasefire. But I just want to end on a positive story. We've heard of the horrendous situation of civil unrest, of internal strife taking place in Israel over the last week as Operation Guardians of the Wall continues. And last week, a Jewish Israeli man was lynched and sadly died a few days ago as a result of his injuries. His family have donated his organs to several families, including his kidneys, to an Arab Israeli woman who lives in Jerusalem. And on the news of receiving these kidneys, she said she is so grateful. She says all she wants is for Jews and Arabs to live in peace. We've always lived together in this region, and it's time for us to live in peace. And we couldn't be more supportive of her statement. So as we go into the weekend, I just want to remind you that you can check out our content online at www.layoftheland.online. There are various opinion pieces, some factual pieces, some observations. Please check that out. Also on our Facebook page at Lottel Site. If you haven't already joined our community, please do so by liking us or following us and sharing our content. We have that YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. Click on that subscribe button, the big red one. You know exactly where it is. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Layer of the Land 5. And for many of you out there in Jewish communities around the world, we just want to let you know that as much as you have all stood with us, we stand with you and hope that the weekend and the coming weeks and months will be peaceful ones. And for our many, many supporters, non-Jewish from around the world, sending their messages, asking us how we are, thank you. Thank you so much. It is so greatly appreciated, and you've really been our strength through this very, very difficult time. So I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all a peaceful weekend. I'll talk to you again on Monday, and all that remains is for me to say Shabbat Shalom.